Well, hi. Have you noticed, guys? And I know it's silly, but now all my videos come from the ocean. I bet everybody's taking a look at my chubby tits here in the morning, huh? But you know what? I was just sitting here chilling. It's 6 in the morning, and I'm out here in the water, listening to the sounds of the ocean, listening to these freaking annoying seagulls who try to steal my headphones, and try to avoid the crabs that are coming up through the water, the sand here. But I was just sitting here thinking to myself, last night I set out along the water, midnight, with some students from Zrenjanin in Serbia. Zrenjanin in Serbia is a city that will always be very close to my heart because Zrenjanin, if it wasn't for Zrenjanin in Serbia, I never would have went to Serbia, ever. I would never would have went to that part of Europe, probably, because I was never that much interested in Europe. I was always interested in Africa and Asia and things. But I was just sitting here thinking, I sat out there until about 1 in the morning with 3 Zrenjanin kids that I've known. Well, one of them I've known since 2011 because he was my student. 2 of them since 2011 were there, Milan and Adrian. And, I was just sitting here thinking, while I'm here in the water, trying to relax because I can't relax well. And I was thinking, where would I be today if I had not bumped into those Serbians on that Facebook page in January of 2010 while I was in my office in the automobile sales industry, when one of the sales guys comes in and says, hey, we're just shooting the shit, and he says, have you heard about a Facebook page called I Hate the USA? And I said, no, who would hate the United States? What? So I get on the site. I was a little caged-in animal, more or less, here in the United States. Being from the Midwest, very conservative area, you don't hear differing viewpoints on things. I was always a liberal, more or less, here. I voted for Bill Clinton, unfortunately, in 1996. It's the first time I could ever vote. I'm not afraid to admit it, but it was a mistake now, because now he's a person that I deeply despise. But I was thinking to myself, if that guy hadn't introduced me to that Facebook page, I Hate the USA, and I hadn't noticed a comment from a guy named Dragon and Alexander saying bad things about the United States, it's so weird how life is. One tiny little thing could have totally altered my life in a totally different way. What would have happened if I would have just went to that page and ignored the comment and never went back to the page? What would have happened if I would have blocked those 2 guys? What would have happened if I would have just said, fuck you, you jubre jedno, and moved on with my life? Where would I be, I haven't the slightest idea where I would be, and that's a scary thought. Not really scary, it's really interesting how one tiny little thing that you do in your life can totally send you on a different branch, a totally 360 degree or 180 degree turn in your life, Isn't that fascinating? Because what did I do when I noticed these horrible comments from these guys? I instantly called them names and said, who the fuck are you, you fucking weird name fuck? Something similar to that. And they insulted me back, and we continued on a little bit, and then we added each other, and then we said, hey, let's speak on Skype. Let's talk about this issue. Why you hate us? They told me why, some things we did. I was interested. They said, long story short, after a couple weeks of talking, why don't you come to Serbia? And I said, you know what? Why not? I'd been to Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, Canada, some places like that. I said, you know what? I will go. I'm going to go meet somebody I met on a Facebook page. I hate the United States. Try telling that to your mom, okay? How would your mom feel if you're a Serbian and you say, hey, Mom, I'm flying by myself to Albania to meet an Albanian who I met on a Facebook page called I Hate Serbia. That's how it was. And that's not a joke. That's the whole story. And it's just fascinating to me. When I sit here in the morning, after meeting with those 3 Zrenjanin kids all night, that city's going to be very special to me because May 28, 2010 was my first trip to Serbia. And that's where I went, to Zrenjanin, and I stayed there for a week, and it totally altered my life. Then I went from Subotica down to Kragujevac and into Niš and Pirot. But it just blows me away to think, if I hadn't been an open-minded good guy and initiated contact and respect and mutual mutual respect between each other. What could have happened? God only knows where I would be today, you know? And right now, Serbia dominates everything to do with my life. When I'm here in Nantucket, who do I hang out with? Serbians. When I'm on the internet, who do I converse with mainly? Serbians. When I make a YouTube video, who is it about? Serbians. When I go where I'm living the majority of the year for the last 8 years, Serbia. When I read the news, what do I always search for first? Serbia. When I think of the best food, the food I really, really want, what do I think about? Serbian food. When I think about some of the sexiest women on the planet, who do I think of? Serbian women. Everything. When I think of sports, when I cheer on a sports team with lots of passion, who do I cheer on? The Serbian team. But if that initial contact on a Facebook page called I Hate the USA in June or January of 2010 had never have occurred, I might be cheering on Sierra Leone. I might be living in Sierra Leone, doing video food series of different foods there. God only knows, but it's fascinating to me. And that should tell all of you, you know, if you meet somebody with a differing view, a differing opinion of something, you can find common ground. You know, you don't have to prickle up like a porcupine and be defensive. Extremely. Stand your ground, of course. You've got to hold your values and your positions, but listen to somebody else's. You might learn something. You might do something that's going to send your life in a totally opposite direction, and you will never be happier than you are now, my friends. Honestly. Listen to your enemy. Try to find common ground with your enemy, and your enemy might become your new best friend. It did for me. Do widzenia.